Well, hi YouTubers. Okay, yes, this is book 12 of the 365-100 books. Now, yeah, I know. Now, for those who just watched the number 11, yes, I'm doing it the same day. Because why not? So anyway, when I decided to do my creative writing MA, my tutor suggested some books I could use to kind of compare, contrast, and kind of get a feel and an idea. And one of them was a book I read when I was about 7 years old. The Children Agree Now by Lucy in Boston. It was very interesting rereading this, especially like over 30 years later, because I remember it being longer. There also was a TV show as well, which I actually rewatched a while ago, and it kind of holds up and it doesn't. It's weird watching a show from your childhood. So anyway, I'm going to read the blurb on the back, and just to give you an idea of what this book is about. What if my great-grandmother is a witch? Tolly's great-grandmother isn't a witch, but she and her old house, Green Knowe, are full of a very special kind of magic. There are other children in the house, children who were happy there centuries before, running around Green Knowe's moat and gardens and mysterious rooms. Tolly slowly discovers them, their toys and animals, and their wonderful stories. So, it's Christmas. Tolly has lost his mother some years prior, and his stepmother and his father are in Burma, so he goes to spend Christmas with his great-grandmother, Mrs. Old Knowe, at the family home of Green Knowe. And while there, they are isolated. There's a flood. They are literally in the middle of nowhere, apart from the groundsman and the grandmother, and the three ghosts of Tolly's ancestors, or ancestral family. Alexander, Toby and Lynette, who all died of the plague 300 years earlier. Yeah. And this is very, very interesting, which I didn't really tweak when I was little, is the ambiguity. Now, this book is so short. It is only 123 pages long. And the ambiguity of this, the atmosphere of this idea of this, it's written in the 1950s, of this child being isolated from his peers, from everyone, and then just exploring the house, trying to get to know his family. And there is this ambiguity of, are these three ghosts real? Or are they products of his imagination? Because, and I'm spoiler territory here, Toby never really sees more of them until he's told a story of them. And then it's kind of like he fills in the gaps of it. Yeah. Now this really, really plays around with Judeo-Christian and pagan mythology regarding St. Christopher and the kind of tree of Green Knowe. There's a tree, sorry, just moved just on my foot. The tree called Green Knowe, okay, or Green Knowe, and a pagan statue, a statue of St. Christopher. And it's kind of like this ideological battle, if you will, between the two spirits. But once again, once ambiguity. Tolly, his real name is Townsend, and his real name is Tolly because it's a family name. The same way Lynette was his mother's name. And Lynette is also his deceased ancestor. And there is this ambiguity of is any of this real or not, and it plays around with it so well. Toby just wants to know about his family, but then he sees their spirits, and we don't know if they're real or not. I certainly didn't. There's this ambiguity. He sees a sign of a animal called Festi, which turns out to be Alexander's horse. And then later on, he wants to see Alexander. Sorry, he wants to see the horse. He imagines he can see the horse. Once again, ambiguity. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Now, this is a very short book. This is page 107, but I love the way Lucy M. Boston uses words to kind of conjure up the image of the emotion, the ferocity, if you will. Now, no spoilers up to here. Moaning winds were rushing and leaping round the circle of the garden, leaving a silence in the centre where something dreadful was certainly taking place. It felt like the pressure of opposing thunderstorms before they break. The air was prickly and suspense so great that Tolly could not breathe, hardly stand. His heart nearly choked him. At last a great forked lightning zigzagged out of the sky so bright that Tolly could not see anything else, with instantaneous thunder, crashing and rolling, enough for 10 lightnings. The air was full of a smell of burning. "Ah," said Linnet, Toby, and Alexander from the shadows. From the shadows, which indicates, real or not, or in Tolly's mind. Perfect. Now, this also is a lot about family too, because Toby has never knew his mother. She died when Tolly was quite young, and it's kind of a way of, by getting in touch with the spirits, if you will, is kind of getting in touch with his mother. He learns more about her, more of his family. His stepmother, who he doesn't really have a good relationship with, but obviously it seems to be quite a new development. And he does actually refer to her as his stepmother, as his mother at one point too. It's just basically getting in touch with your childhood and this idea of, now I've read this book and I don't believe that these spirits were real. I not that I'm a cynic, I'm not. But the thing is, it's the ambiguity presented that asks the questions. Now, I'd like to think that they were real, and when I was a child I thought they were real, but as an adult I can see that everything is being said to Tolly, even little tiny little things by his grandmother, is kind of building this image of Lynette, Toby and Alexander. Question, for such a short book, especially a children's book written in the 1950s, that actually asks these kind of questions is quite revolutionary. This is the first of several of Knowe books, and I do remember reading some of the others, but this one's special. So anyway, recommend it. I'm going to put links on how to get it, and yeah, I hope everyone who read this book, if you remember what you thought of it, write down in the comments. I'd like to see what anyone else thought of this. And now I'm signing off. Bye now.